If you are currently feeling stuck, here are 3 reasons why. Number 1, you lack perspective. Number 2, you're comparing yourself to others. And number 3, you're afraid of failure. Okay, let me explain. All right, so the first one, that is you lack perspective. When I was thinking of doing this topic, the first thing that came to mind was the most recent time that I felt as though I was stuck, right? And that was with my most recent relationship that ended last year, where I cared for this person so much, I loved him so much, and I felt as though they went above and beyond for me. They were always there for me. And when it reached a point when I came to the realization that this person is not the person that God sent for me, and I had to end things. For a couple of weeks I felt stuck. And the reason for that is because at that time I was heavily dependent on that person, fully 100%, financially, mentally, emotionally, physically, like every part of me was 100% dependent on them. And so actually choosing to leave and start fresh, start from scratch, it felt like I was facing a huge mountain that was literally close to impossible to overcome, right? And so for a couple of weeks I actually felt stuck, like I couldn't move forward, right? And what I needed to happen at that moment was for me to switch my perspective, change my perspective, right? And that was for me, because one of my biggest fears that I had was hurting this person's feelings, considering that I knew how much they cared for me, I knew how much they loved me, and so I did not want to hurt their feelings, right? And I'm a recovering people pleaser at heart, and like reaching that point of actually choosing to leave and actually leaving, it was like close to impossible to get to that point, right? And what I had to realize, the perspective that I had to change, was that I had to realize that, you know what, it does not matter if this was to end 5 years from now or 10 years from now, this person is going to hurt regardless, right? They will hurt, but guess what? They will heal, right? They will hurt, they will heal. And when I realized that, that really switched my perspective to know that, you know what, at the end of the day, like this person's healing journey, that is not up to me. Like breakups are part of life. People leave relationships all the time. These things happen, right? And you will be a villain in someone else's story. So I actually heard this in one of the podcasts that I love to listen to. I heard this from one of the hosts when she said that you are the villain in someone else's story, right? In this case, I was going to be the villain, right? But it's freeing to know that this is part of life. Like I was going to hurt this person, but I've had people who hurt me as well, right? I've been hurt as well. People have broken up with me as well, and it hurt really bad, right? And so that was the shift of perspective that I needed to have, and I needed to experience for me to reach that decision and actually leave and start fresh, right? And so for your situation, what I would advise for you to do is to ask yourself, look for a different perspective in the situation that you're in. Find a different perspective. Find a switch that will open up your mind to like a different understanding, or like a different outcome that you can receive, right? So for example, what I would like for you to stop saying is, first, stop repeating to yourself, I'm stuck. Start ruminating on, I'm in transition. So stop saying I'm stuck, start saying I'm in transition. The second thing, stop saying I'm stuck. You can start saying my steps are ordained by God, right? I am not stuck, my steps are ordained by God. I am not stuck, I'm moving forward, right? So even the change of your language will help you and actually start taking those steps to actually move forward. Stop repeating, like meditating on those words, I'm stuck, because guess what, you're going to remain in that place. And the second thing that I would like for you to do is to be 100% honest with yourself and say, are you stuck, or are you being indecisive, right? Because sometimes I find that it's either you are faced, like you feel like I have no option but I have to remain in the situation, or you feel like you have multiple options and you're in that stage of being indecisive, and that indecisiveness is causing you not to move, right? So either way, you have to if you're being indecisive, own up to it and say, I'm being indecisive right now. So you'd rather say I'm being indecisive than saying stuck, because that feeling of saying you're stuck, it gives you helplessness. You feel helpless, right? But if you're being indecisive, that there is an option there that actually you do have choice. You're just not moving forward because you're not picking either of the choices, right? And when it comes to that, I would say sometimes when we have multiple options, we are not picking anything at all, and then we're remaining where we are, right? Because you are scared, like, what if I make the wrong choice? But the truth is, it's better for you to just decide and move on than remaining where you are. It's better to make a decision and you move forward, and you end up finding out later that I made the wrong decision, than actually you remaining where you are and you're not moving at all, right? Like, you all have so many options and you're not choosing anything, and then you're remaining exactly where you are. So we don't want that. Make a decision. You have 2-3 options, multiple options. Pick one, go with it, run with it. Just move, okay? We just want you to move forward. In this 2024, just move forward. Do not choose to remain exactly where you are, right? And the last thing I want for you to think of as well, sometimes as well, that I have recognized, is that when you're saying to yourself, I feel stuck, could it be that there is something deep inside that God is asking you to do, but you're choosing not to do it, right? You're choosing not to do it. Now, the reason why you may choose not to do it could be a number of reasons, right? Could be laziness. I'm laughing because I can relate to this, right? Sometimes it's laziness. Sometimes, it's disobedience. You're choosing to you're just being disobedient, right? Because you're choosing not to move. Could be lack of motivation, lack of passion, lack of enthusiasm, whatever it may be. But there could be a number of reasons why that, God is asking you to do this thing and you're choosing not to do it, right? Either way, whatever the reason that may be, just own up. Stop saying you're stuck and just say, I'm disobedient right now. Right? Stop saying I'm stuck. Just say I'm lazy right now. Like, I have no motivation right now. The reason why I'd like you to switch that language to this new language is because one gives you ownership and one gives you victim mentality, right? One is ownership, one is victim mentality. When you're just saying, oh, I'm stuck, that just puts you in a helpless situation, puts you in a victim mentality situation where you feel like, oh, all these things are happening to me, like, oh, like nothing I can do, like, oh, I just have no choice, I'm just stuck, and that will never ever get you anywhere, right? It's better for you to just own up to your stuff and say, you know what, I am not stuck. I know what I need to do. I'm just choosing not to do it right now. And that is okay. That is okay. That is totally fine. For a number of months, I knew I had to, get back to YouTube and start recording again. I was just choosing not to. I was just like, you know what? Like, I don't want to do this right now. Like, it's a lot of work. It's, filming, editing, posting, promoting everything. It's a lot of work. And I was like, I just want to do it. And rather than me say, oh, like, I feel stuck, like, with this, it's just own up to your stuff and say, I don't want to do this right now. And that is okay. That is totally fine. Okay? So those are all part of, having lack of perspective. Now we'll move on to the second thing. And that is you're comparing yourself to others. And of course, as annoying as this may be, but I just have to mention social media, right? Like, it is what it is. Like, social media, you're on Instagram, you are on TikTok, you are on Threads, whatever it is, and you're looking at people, scrolling all day long, multiple hours a day, right? And this, like, consciously or unconsciously, might put you in a place where you feel as though, like, oh, like, I'm not moving forward, like, all these people around me, they're doing this, they're having these amazing jobs, and buying houses, buying cars, whatever it may be, right? And of course, as we know, first with Instagram, like, we talk about it all the time, that it's highlight reels. People will never post their sad moments, they'll never post themselves crying, right? Even the hard work that it takes behind the scenes to reach where they are, you're not even seeing that. You're not seeing the grind, like nothing, right? And so, of course, with social media, like, when you're comparing yourself to other people using that is just, you're doing a huge disservice to yourself, because you are not seeing the full picture, right? So we'll start with that. So social media, like, don't do that, don't do that. Okay, then you're like, okay, I'm comparing myself to people that I know in real life, like people that I, your peers, colleagues, friends, whatever. And you may feel as though, maybe they're doing certain things that you wish you could be doing, or you feel as though, they're further ahead than you are right now, right? And to that, I would say, like, each person is on their own journey, right? You are on your own journey and you need to focus on that. Like, focus on you, right? The reason why I don't compare myself to others, I will be honest, like, I don't struggle with that at all, is because when I, even a person that I know personally, when I see them doing something big, like, like one of my friends recently, one of my close friends, she actually bought a house recently, which amazing. Like, I was so extremely happy for her, right? The reason why it didn't bother me, I didn't feel like no jealousy, nothing, is because I know that this time that she was buying a house, this was her time. This was the time that God ordained for her, for this purchase to take place in this year. I think it was like the end of last year, right? And I know that my time will come when I will buy my own house, right? It's just not my time right now, right? So it's recognizing, like, our God is like our God of times and seasons, right? Sometimes it's like your season for you to sow, sometimes it's a season for you to reap, right? For her at that time, if she's buying a house, that's the season for her to reap, but she also had time to sow. Who knows what I was doing when she was sowing and I was not, right? Like, who knows? But basically, all that to say that each person, like, your own timing will come. And with life, just in general, it's full of ups and downs. Like, one moment you're super happy, one moment you're sad, like, it's impossible for you to just live life and throughout, like, it's just a constant line of, like, no challenges, no moments of sadness. Like, that is literally, like, that's just not even how life works, right? And so do not compare yourself to others, because you are on your own journey, and whatever it is that you would like to, whatever it is that you are striving for, whatever, like, things that you deeply desire, things that you want to accomplish for yourself, your time will come when you will accomplish all those things. Like, all your dreams, all your aspirations in life, they will all come to fruition in God's timing. So just trust that it may not be your time right now, but your time is coming. What you can do, as I mentioned from that previous step, is going deep, right? Going deep, taking time in prayer, taking time in fasting, taking time in spending time with God, and asking God, what do you want me to do right now? What do you want me to do? What would you like? What would you have me do in this moment, in this season of my life? What would you have me do? Guess what? Each and every single time that you take the time to ask this question, you will receive an answer. And when you receive that answer, just be honest with yourself. Either you're moving forward with that answer and you're taking those steps that God is asking you to take, or if you're gonna, be disobedient, choose to be disobedient and not act, I don't want to do it right now, Lord. I know what you're asking, but I don't want to do it. Be honest with yourself and own up to that, okay? But what we're not gonna do is to say we're stuck when we know what we're being asked to do, okay? And number 3, you are afraid of failure, right? You're afraid of failure. So you may feel stuck when, as I mentioned before, that you may know deep down inside the steps you need to take to kind of, like, come out of that situation, come out of that, stage of, like, feeling stuck or whatever that may be. And you know what you need to do. You know the steps you need to take, but you are afraid, right? Afraid of people's opinions, afraid of failure, afraid of rejection. Could be a number of things, right? But you are afraid, right? This one actually goes in line, like, it goes hand in hand with actually switching your perspective, right? So this will this will blow your mind. But I was at a life group maybe like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, a week or 2 weeks ago, or whatever. I was in a life group with some of my church members, and the leader of that life group said something so deep that literally I was gasping for air, okay? So what he said was that whenever you're feeling afraid, there is something you don't know. Whenever you're feeling afraid, there's something you don't know. And once you know that thing, that fear will disappear. So I'll repeat it again because it's so good. This will change your life. Whenever you're feeling afraid, there is something you don't know. Once you figure out that something that you don't know, that fear will disappear. When you figure out that something that you don't know, that fear will disappear. Okay, since I heard that, I've been practicing it, because now, as I mentioned, I think it's been a week or 2 weeks since I heard that, and I've been practicing it. Whenever I start to feel a little bit nervous or a little bit anxious, I would say to myself, there's something I don't know. What don't I know? I can even ask the Holy Spirit, what don't I know about this situation? And the Holy Spirit would say something, and I'm like, you know what? You're right. That makes perfect sense. And literally, I would feel those nerves left, like that anxious feeling would literally left when it's a switch of perspective that happens. That is absolutely amazing. Okay, when it comes to fear, for example, so I'll give you examples even when it comes to this subject, right? So for example, you want to, because I did a video of starting your passion, starting something new, and you're afraid. So one of the reasons could be you're afraid of people's opinions, right? And with that, I would say what you don't know is that I don't know what it is. As I mentioned before, like sometimes I don't know, we are so vain that we think people are thinking about us 24/7, when in reality, truly, nobody cares. Nobody cares. I promise you, nobody cares. And once you come to that realization and you accept that, like deeply, like accept that, you know what, truthfully, nobody really cares, that fear of people's opinions will dissipate. Okay? And I'll say this. Think about your own life and people that are around you, and when they do certain things, how much time do you actually take to actually focus on them before you actually go back to your own things, right? Even as you're scrolling on social media and you see people, different people are posting different things. First, it's super quick. You're scrolling super quick. And even when you see a person doing something new, let's say, this person has started a business, you're like, oh, they started a business. Oh, cool. And you're moving on to the next thing. How much time do you actually take to actually focus on that person? Right? You're not taking that much time, because guess what? You have your own life, you've got your own bills to pay, you got your own work, you got your own school, you got your own things, you have your own dreams, aspirations, desires, things that you want to accomplish for yourself, right? So you're not even taking that much time to think about these other people, right? So it's the same thing with you. Like when you're choosing to do something new, or you're choosing to take that step that, is extremely scary to you, and you're worried, oh my gosh, what will people think about me? People don't really care about you like that. And the second thing that you have to realize is that this life is your life, because even now as I'm speaking, even when I go back to that situation when I was choosing to leave that relationship, I knew, like, even when I was still in it and I knew that I'm going to take this step, I was thinking about, people are going to really think like I'm crazy. They're really going to think, like I used this person and all these other things just because of of everything that happened for me to come to Canada and be with this person and everything. Like I was considering all those things, like what will people think? Like they will judge me and say that I used them, blah blah. But then what I had to realize was that at the end of the day, this is my life. I only get to live it once, only one time. I cannot let the opinions of others stop me from doing what is best for me, right? That should never happen, because at the end of the day, when I was thinking about the situation, if I'm like with this person 10-20 years from now and I am miserable in that relationship, every person's opinions, they're not going to be with me. When I mean that marriage, like 15-20 years from now, and I'm suffering miserable, none of those people are going to be there. Like if I'm in bed crying all night because I'm really depressed, I'm really sad, none of those people are going to be there, right? So ultimately, whatever it is that you have to do it for you. It should not matter because guess what? When you're really when it really boils down to it, and you're on your own, alone, sleeping at night, you are the person that has to deal with your emotions by yourself, alone. Okay. So that should not be a factor. So that could be a switch of perspective for you to not feel afraid. Do not be afraid. Don't be afraid. Okay, that was an example of like worrying of people's opinions, worrying of what people will say, and all of that. Look for a way for you to switch your perspective, and that fear of failure will disappear. Okay, I can come up with more and more examples, but you know what? We'll do another video where we'll just be talking about the fear of failure, and that's it. Okay, I'll do that perhaps the following week or the week after that. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, be sure to hit that notification bell so you are notified when I upload a new video. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you next week. Bye.